We're going to get you in and out and hopefully give you some good information that you can use. We're just going to go ahead and get started. So, today's topic is obviously informed delivery, elevating your physical to digital marketing strategy. Just want to kind of give you a fun fact. Chio, Saley, and myself, we actually just got back from Nashville, Tennessee, where we were invited by the USPS to actually present this information at the National Postal Forum, which is a mailing and shipping conference held each year in a different city. Over 5,000 individuals attended this conference that was a week long, but we actually had the unique honor of presenting this very deck that we're going to share with you today to a group of over 100 attendees. So we are extremely honored to be able to present this deck to you all here today. So joining me here today, we have our Director of Marketing, Anna Campbell. Thank you so much for joining us. And also thank you, Anna, for coordinating everything here today. We didn't have the technical skills to be able to do this, so we appreciate all of your help in getting this done. My name is Eric Norman. I am the Senior Mail and Logistics Manager here at Corefact. I've been with the company for just over 3 years. Prior to Corefact, I was actually with the Postal Service as a sales executive for 7 years. And prior to that, I was with Pitney Bowes Presort Services for 12. So I've got a little experience in the industry. So um, really happy what I've been able to do here at Corefact and some of the work that we have accomplished here. But I also wanted to introduce my compadre, my partner in crime. He's been an integral part in this journey. He's an innovator in the industry. He's a leader, one of the co-founders of Corefact. He's just an amazing individual. He's a motivator, constantly providing the support that we need to push this company and push ideas through. I'd like to introduce you all to Mr. Chio Saley.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity here. We got a lot of people here from a lot of different areas. Shout out to the Henderson, Vegas area because that's where I'm from. So, good morning to you guys, and really excited about this whole informed delivery. I think we'll have a good audience here. There's a lot of real estate professionals. We also have mail service providers, print service providers, other people with other companies and stuff like that. So, yeah, it'd be really fun to kind of talk about some of this stuff here today. In particular, I am the VP of Creative Services for Corefact, really responsible for products design as well as creating some sort of continue to innovate, and that's kind of like what we do. We try to push the envelope on a lot of different things and try to make mail relevant and drive more responses for everyone. So, really excited about this opportunity today, and let's get this rolling.
All right, thank you so much, Chio. So we want to just give you a little background to how we got here and what kind of kicked all this things off as far as this project is concerned. So when we first looked into informed delivery, we had some internal core fact discovery calls. And one of the first things that came up was how could we make this tool something that could provide some lead generation? And that actually led to us coming up with the concept of putting together a landing page. And then the big question came up with so many orders that Corefact produces, how could we get dozens of these ID interactive campaigns approved in enough time to print, create, and mail each order? So we reached out to the Postal Service, and the Postal Service actually hooked us up with our first discovery call. And we got on the phone with a gentleman named Izana Desi. He's shown here in the picture. He was one of the first folks to kind of embrace the idea of what we were trying to do with informed delivery. Izana, if you're out there, if you can maybe give us a shout out in the chat, that would be great. Um, so the first call, he actually invited us, Chio and myself, to attend the Phoenix National Postal Forum in 2022 and said, hey, come on out, let's sit down, let's talk some more. And Chio and I, we actually jumped at the opportunity to go out there. So imagine, if you will, I actually hadn't attended the Postal Forum for probably over 10 years, and Chio had never been. So the two of us, we set out to Phoenix, Arizona, in search of Mr. Izana. And so we actually happened to just bump into him at a workshop. And so we had a really good initial discussion and we asked, could we get some of his time? And so he's on if you're out there. We're sorry we actually stalked him for a couple days until we were able to get him to settle down. But what you're seeing right here is a picture of us having our first sit down, and it was a breakfast that lasted almost 2 hours. And I would just say that during that call, it was just an amazing exchange of ideas. And the big thing is he challenged us, and we had an idea that we wanted to implement, but he actually pushed us and made us think past the limits of what we'd actually come up with. And so, one of the things that he actually challenged us with was, could we personalize the ID campaigns? The second one was, could we automate the process? But the number one thing that he challenged us with was the response rates. And could we increase the response rates? Chio, can you tell us a little bit about the response rates and what our approach to response rates is?
Yeah, we're all about response rates. Just to give you an idea, if you guys are mailing like a static postcard, which is basically the same type of postcard, and going out to every homeowner or prospective seller or buyer, whatever the case is, your response rates are going to be probably 0.47%. That's literally, if you mail 100 postcards, you're probably lucky to get one response. A lot of it is due to just, a couple of things that we live by, which is, how do we continue to drive more responses? And really, it's through personalization, having a strong call to action, and a digital experience and engagement with the mail piece itself. So we kind of do this today through dynamic QR codes. And this is a system that we've been improving throughout the years. We originally started with key codes and made some improvements on QR codes ever since COVID. And our response rates have increased as well. If you scan this QR code today and you kind of use one of our postcards, you know that we automatically generate that landing page for you. It's a home estimate. And whoever is scanning that QR code, we identify that person. So we tell you and we say, hey, it looks like Chio from 123 Main Street scanned his postcard and got a home valuation, and here's his address. So now you have actually something actionable to follow up with. And when we did that, our response rates average about 1 to 4%. Sometimes, depending on the farm that you guys mail out to, things like that, you're probably looking at, sometimes it could be as high as like 6%, 8%, 12%. I've seen it high as 14%. And it's really just, filtering out that mail list to make sure it's optimized and things like that. So that kind of helps out with improving the response rates. But we'll try to do our best as, you know, leveraging the latest tech and things like that to improve the response rates as much as possible.
All right, thank you, Chio. Appreciate that detailed feedback. So, what is the critical part of a mailing? Here at Corefact, we really like to take dive into the mail moment. And so, what is included with the mail moment? You come home from work, you go to the mailbox, you grab your stack of mail. You probably have a certain place in the house that you like to have your mail moment, typically in the kitchen area. But it comes down to about 8 seconds per piece to try to pass this mail moment. And here at Corefact, I know Anna's going to laugh, but we've come up with a term called pass or trash. And so to pass is to get those folks to acknowledge that mail piece. Trash, obviously, it does not pass that mail moment. And so how do we get that end user to pause, to scan, and to take action? Chio, can you talk a little bit about the sender mail moment?
Yeah, yeah, I love this part of it because this is for the people who are actually paying for the mailing, right? They gotta they have to have a mail moment as well, and they got to make sure that the marketing is working and things like that. And the first time when you get that scan, you get that text message or that email that says, "Hey, your marketing is working. Someone's actually responding to that." That's the type of lead generation. That's the type of feel that what we call the core fact feeling, the moment that you get that response and it tells you that, hey, my marketing is actually effective. And that's the sender mail moment that we're talking about here as well. So anytime when we're able to just generate more leads with that improvement to the response rates, that's all, this whole goodness, all the stuff that we're talking about here, the mail moment for the person receiving it, as well as the sender mail moment, we wanted to have that same type of effect on informed delivery. So for you guys who are, who don't, I'm not sure you guys are signed up for informed delivery, whatever the case is. Think about this as like the same mail piece going out and having some sort of digital experience. And can we have that estimate on that informed delivery email as well? And so, what we were doing with the postcards, we just wanted to mimic the same thing onto informed delivery.
Excellent. Thank you, Chio. So we talked about the physical mail moment already. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the digital mail moment. And so if we could just take a moment and if you could look at the image to the right, this is an actual informed delivery interactive campaign. If you will notice the image on top, that is referred to as the representative image. Now, the unique part about the representative image is it doesn't necessarily need to be an image of the postcard itself. While some folks do choose to go that route, but it is literally an open marketing space for you. At the bottom, what you'll see is the ride along. This is everything. You'll see the call to action, home valuation, click here. This is everything. Here at Corefact, we have done amazing research surrounding the call to actions and the ride alongs. So, this is what this whole presentation is about, the Informed Delivery Interactive Campaign. Now, the other thing I will also share with you is if you are currently enrolled as an Informed Delivery registered user and you see an interactive campaign come across, this will actually be the very first mail piece that you see. The rest of them are typically gray images of all your other incoming mail. But here at Corefact, what we like to call this is simply your appetizer before the meal, the intro before the song, or even the test drive before the purchase.
Hey,
Chia?
Eric, what are you talking about? Also, how many people are signed up for informed delivery? Because we have a lot of real estate professionals on the call today. One of the things that I tell people all the time is, the increased demand of this free service that's provided by the USPS. And a lot of these guys who signed up for informed delivery, these are all homeowners, these are all investors, these are all renters. It is the audience pretty much that is for the real estate professionals that are on this call. So, how many people have actually signed up for informed delivery now?
That's a good question, Chill. Right now, the total number of registered users in the country is 65 million people. I want to say it's right around 30% of the folks in this country are currently signed up. So for a mailer, that's really good odds to know that a lot of the folks you'll be sending to are already signed up for informed delivery.
Yeah, we have a lot of also just a lot of realtors, and we always tell them educate and let the seller and buyers know about the USPS informed delivery. It is the more people you get signed up in your farm list and your database, the more people that'll see your postcards and also your brand as well. So
One of the things that we've been able to do here at Corefact, and again, a lot of it comes down to our partnership with the Postal Service. They actually provide us with a lot of data surrounding our ID campaign. So, we are pleased today to report that Corefact has an all-time number of 162,890 total ID campaigns created. This number is approximately 21% of all the campaigns ever created in the country. And if we were in person, I would ask you to clap, but we're not. But we are extremely proud of this number. And again, we thank the Postal Service for their help in helping us to achieve this. So, how did we do this?
So, I don't know. I think it goes back 4 years ago, when we met Izana at Postal Conference. But we've learned a lot of things along the way. We're going to talk about stats by the numbers, how we automate our batches a little bit, so that way we're able to commingle all the orders and have unique experiences with informed delivery. We'll talk about a little bit about also the creative tasks that what do we do to improve the click-throughs on the ride-along ads and some of the R&D magic that we kind of started to develop. Then also just clear education about positioning this particular service as well as the future of informed delivery. So lot of different opportunities I think down the road as well, making that mail piece even more effective than it is today.
Thank you, Chio. So here's some of the numbers we're very proud of. So as we talked about campaigns, total number of campaigns created over 160,000. number of impressions over 1 million. The click-throughs, and we'll actually talk a little bit more about ride-alongs, but the click-throughs are everything. And so we've actually seen over 35,000 click-throughs. Email open rate is about 46%, and then our upload success rate is 99.48%. Chio, can you give us a little summary of the automating campaign process?
Yeah, so we have to automate this and engineer this thing so we could, make it be a little bit more efficient for us. The time it takes to create an informed delivery campaign, interactive campaign, generally takes about 5 to 10 minutes, probably even sometimes even more, depending on the sophistication of the actual campaign itself. So yeah, we had to automate this whole process. This is kind of an overview of all the things that we've done to basically automate this, work with our engineering team, generate the orders or every single one of those postcards, create the ride-along ads, and then create that personalized experience that we mimic on the postcards onto the phone or the, click-through as well. So, and then from there, additional reports and notifications. So if you guys are sending out postcards and you scan the QR code, you're going to get some responses. Now, just imagine if you set up interactive campaigns that kind of go along with that. We're going to give you the same type of philosophy that we live by. We're going to give you additional leads from that same postcard as well. So, lots of opportunity there.
Perfect. Thank you. So we're going to share with you part of our journey that was somewhat of a challenge, and that was what we talked about earlier, that image at the bottom of the Informed Delivery Interactive campaign. It's the ride along. It's everything. It comes down to your call to action. It comes down to the font. It comes down to many different characteristics go into what makes a ride along a successful call to action. And so these are just some of the ride alongs that we tested. And we actually went to some of our customers and asked, could we use some of their orders to test and see where we saw the most success as far as the click-throughs are concerned. So you'll see a lot of these have different call to actions, click here, click now, free, whatever the case may be. But we tested probably over 100 images, and I know I drove Chio crazy because I went to him every week and asked for another ride along, and we were going over the reports with the click-throughs, and so we just tried to do whatever we could to find the one that actually connected with our customers.
Yeah, we went through like a lot of R&D on this stuff. I don't know. I think we probably created over like 120 different ride-along ads. All this is all real estate related stuff. So a lot of these that we're showing you today failed, it failed. And what I mean by that is we didn't get that many click-throughs. We tested everything from photos using, bold fonts, changing the color palette, whatever the case is. If you look at this grid right now, look at the middle column and where it says thinking of selling your home, and that's in purple. Scroll, if you look down, the one winner that we had that worked really well for us was that third one. It's in red. This is free home estimate. Click here. And so that one actually, we were working with these top agents on their farm, everything from 5,000 to about 20,000 pieces that were being mailed out. And they got additional leads from this. But that was the winner that we had. And this is through a process of probably about, I don't know, I would argue probably like 6 months of rinse, wash, and repeat kind of thing. So that one particular ad got us the most response. And I want to say our click-throughs was probably, I want to say maybe about 4% of that. And we're trying to stick to that same type of philosophy and the design style and style guide with this moving forward. So we'll continue to make improvements and, provide different ride-along ads right there to just create more value.
Excellent. And so, one of the things we talked about before is the click through. The click throughs are everything. And so when you're creating an informed delivery interactive campaign, it requires that you put some type of URL link into the actual campaign itself. So, Chio, talk to us a little bit about what we can do as far as options with those URL links.
Yeah, so a lot of people think about when you click through on this ride-along ad on informed delivery, it takes you to a landing page, right? And this is where I think ride-along ads or links are underrated. What I mean by that is you could create a different experience with the type of click through that happens. So for example, here, you could click through, let's just say for you guys are doing a postcard and you guys mail something out and we could actually link that to like a PDF file. So imagine like attaching maybe a list of like all the contractors or vendors that you work with. Hey, here's my top 5 services around this neighborhood. Everything from your best restaurants to like your cleaning service and so on and so forth. But being able to have the ability to really track that. You can also tie it into like audio files, also movie files, YouTube, social media. One thing that we started doing a little bit more is probably on that scheduler, which is pretty important, right? So let's say, for example, if I wanted to do, hey, click this ad to schedule private showing of a property. And when they click on that ad, go to like a scheduler that'll basically help you schedule maybe some sort of appointment or something like that. But the experiences that you have does not need to be just on the landing page. I mean, literally all the investments that you do in other medias or other investments into things like, hey, I'm doing more video, I'm doing more social media, I'm doing all those things. It has to kind of tie back into all the things that you're doing with your marketing efforts, right? So if it's your postcards, those things could complement each other and they don't need to be in silo. But take advantage of that. It just, a lot of people think about clicking on this ad, just goes to the landing page and it could provide a way different, better experience if you're creative about it.
Excellent. So, what does it all come down to? You might be asking. Well, what we've done here at Corefact is we've put together what's called a post-campaign slash lead report. And it gives you basically your highlights of your mailing. Number one, it's going to give you your email open rate percentage. It's going to give you your impressions. But the most important thing is it's going to give you the lead generation numbers and it's going to give you the contact info.
Yeah, think about this also, that report. This is a good way to also identify and let you know that that mailing actually was mailed out, right? So it's every time. So what happens is like when you send out that postcard, there's I would say like a time frame that we use to track all the responses and things like that. It generally is about when your mail piece goes out, it probably takes about 1 to 2 weeks, I believe. And then this report gets kicked back. We collect the report and we kick it back over to the person that sent out that postcard. But then you start seeing little things like email open rates on here. You start seeing like actual leads coming from that particular informed delivery campaign that's set up, right? So additional leads outside of that postcard that was being sent out. And also, here's another thing I like about this. There's barcodes that we have on the postcards, those IMB barcodes. We track that based off of like facilities and where the mail is being moved out to. That is also a way to track the mail, but a lot of people that I talk to about this, they love getting this report because also now you can confirm that this mail piece was actually mailed out, right? So another level of just comfort knowing that that mail piece was delivered. And then also here's another thing that I will bring up about informed delivery about this piece here and getting that report. Like I mentioned, you're going to get a text message and also email from the postcard scans. You're also going to get this report. So just give you an idea, a lot of people who are processing their order on our store and things like that, what happens is when you get to a particular page, it'll say, hey, would you want to upgrade this mailing with informed delivery? So you guys, if you guys are thinking about having additional leads from the same mail piece, we basically charge, I want to say something like about 2 cents for every one of these cards that get mailed out. So let's just say if I want to upgrade my mailing for informed delivery for, 500 postcards. Okay, well now you can set it up, click on one button, and then now it's literally for $10, you're going to get, an additional lead generation from the same mail piece. Take advantage of that because I think a lot of people still use the basic informed delivery and they don't really see what the opportunities are when you start creating more interactive campaigns with informed delivery here.
All right, thank you. So, what about the future? When we met with the postal folks last year and we presented our case study, they were really impressed with some of the numbers, but they challenged us and they asked us, they said, what do you have next? And we talked a little bit about some things we were doing in a new area that's called informed delivery package interactive campaigns. And so you might be asking yourself, well, how can you do a campaign for a package? So if you make a purchase, let's say on eBay, eBay typically uses the postal service to ship, and you are an informed delivery subscriber, and you scroll to the bottom of your email, you will see a tracking number from that sender or that shipper with your package coming. And it'll be a series of numbers with your tracking information. What is now available is an interactive campaign. So right below that tracking information, you can actually insert a ride along. And so you all know what the ride along is. It's the same exact image that we can use for a mailing interactive campaign, minus the representative image. So it's still interactive. You can still attach a URL to it. You can send it to anywhere you like. So for example, if you're shipper A, you can put on there, click here for 15% off your next order. And whoever's receiving that package can click on that URL and it'll take them directly to their website, and then you've got repeat business. So this is an area that we are heavily investigating. We've actually done some tests and we're continuing to develop, but it's the next thing. And we hope to be able to share some of our progress with you somewhere soon down the line.
Yeah, we'll also work on things like the AI stuff that we've been developing. So, which is great because I think so many people are excited about, the AI experience that we're going to be doing with informed delivery as well. We'll be putting OpenAI into our postcards soon. So for those of you guys who are on this call, who are real estate professionals, really looking forward to that. Probably about Q3 or Q4 of this year. We'll have a product that is really AI driven, and it is amazing. And also just leveraging just more data, more value. The more information that we could get, the more different type of experiences that we could provide on informed delivery. And that's something that we'll continue to push going forward. But yeah, I think the opportunity, the different touch points, all these things that we're talking about today, making an impact, making mail relevant, making postcards even more effective when you add this digital experience on top of what we've already built has been tremendous for us. So, if you guys are doing this, if you guys haven't placed an order and haven't upgraded your mailing, try it out and let us know what you guys think.
All right. So that concludes our presentation for today. So I think, Anna, will we be sending out a follow-up email to the group?
Yes.